Hello guys, Space Insider Gaming here, and today we're making another review of the Medal of Honor series, and this is the latest game of the Medal of Honor installment, which is Medal of Honor Warfighter. This game came out in 2012 and got a lot of mixed reviews. This game is a direct sequel of Medal of Honor 2010, and this game has came with a lot of controversy, and is considered a big marketing failure by EA standards. And which is interesting because this has actually caused a stop to the Medal of Honor series until another project can come by and freeze it, or just until they reform the whole thing. Though the stats for this is that it only sold 300,000 copies were shipped into stores the opening week, and by 2013 there's about 3 million copies that haven't been really sold and it's only been shipped. The numbers of how much were sold kind of varies. So like I said, this game had received a lot of mixed reviews. I mean, for this review we're going to be looking more at multiplayer because I have played some of the campaign but not finished it all. Been a lot of time constraints with school and stuff like that where I couldn't really play it as much. But I got this game off a whim. I got it for a cheap price, and decided it was pretty good because you can find this game on sale for $2.99 for the Xbox and stuff like that. I saw it at Walmart for retarded expensive, but I mean in GameStop I saw it for $2.99. Wanted to pick it up, but I mean, I was able to find a couple, just maybe 1 or 2 servers that are still running. Maybe about 30 people play this game still online. It's very, very minimal. So basically, we'll start with the campaign first. I mean, picks up where the 2010 series, 2010 installment left off. I mean, you're Preacher. You play as Preacher, and then you play as Stump as another character. And you just go around Philippines, Pakistan, different other areas. Find out that the explosive PETN has been distributed around the globe and in a lot of illegal ways. In the first mission, you actually kind of see that explosion happen. Like a normal op goes wrong. A normal demolitions operation just completely goes to shit. Everything's falling around. And then, I mean, the interesting part about this is that Preacher is coming home. His family's torn apart. I mean, because of the nature of being a tier 1 operator. The nature of the work is really taking a toll on the family. And then he goes to Spain. They went to meet up at a train station, but a terrorist attack happens and kind of fucks it up there. What's interesting with this is mostly just the struggles with Preacher and his family. This cuts really dead on with a lot of the things military families have to face every time they're, and especially with special forces families where, I mean, they're gone from 6 months to a year at a time. Combat veterans have to deal combat infantry. They have to deal with the same things all the time. I mean, all veterans, all branches of government, any soldier, sailor, marine, they face this kind of stuff every year. But I mean, some of it is more severe than others. I mean, in a way that, you don't know if you're gonna die. And since Preacher is a tier 1, he's a fictional tier 1 operator, it's tougher on his family because he's out on missions that can get him killed essentially. So this is where that ties in. I mean, just showing his struggles with his family. You can see it like in the beginning cutscenes where it happens. And this campaign drives really like more kind of action packed, more like theatrical stuff. Kind of instead of like kind of older multiplayer 2010, which actually took a little more of a realistic approach because these events actually happen. Unlike here, where it was just throwing few realistic things and then a lot of make-believe, a lot of Hollywood action-packed. Multiplayer from the 2010. I mean, the single player from the 2010 had this too, but in a little more different way. But now we'll get to the meat and juice of this, which would be the multiplayer. The multiplayer is actually really interesting. I mean, they got so much customization options, so much different things. You're playing on the Frostbite 2 engine, the same engine that Battlefield 3 runs. And instead of fighting as like U.S. forces versus Taliban, you're fighting with different groups, special forces groups from around the world, from Australian Special Air Services, the SAS, JTF2, GRUM, SOG, DevGRU, KSK. All these countries, their special forces, Spetsnaz, I think Spetsnaz, nah, FSB Alpha Group. You basically pick out 5 of these operators when you're starting in the multiplayer. You just fight against each other. You got the regular team deathmatch, conquest, combat missions, stuff like that. And right now there's only 2 running servers from when I played it. So it tells you something there. The game's not really played as much, but whatever it can do is actually pretty interesting. You got 6 distinct classes. You got Spec Ops, Sniper, Heavy Gunner, and Point Man, and Assaulter. 6 you can choose from, and you got a lot of different task force you can pick from, the countries and stuff like that. The customization is actually a very interesting thing because it kind of sticks to one concept, which would be, like in Battlefield, where different combinations of attachments can work differently for different weapons. Make it for the better or make it for the worse. Now, Warfighter actually keeps it in a uniform way for that specific weapon. I mean, you can customize the barrel, the muzzles, magazines, stocks, optics, paint jobs. But mostly, it either makes your gun good or bad. Mixing different attachments doesn't really have that kind of effect. It's just one uniform effect. If you go with a suppressor and a foregrip, you're gonna have better hip fire but reduced range. Unlike with Battlefield, where I mean you can basically a lot of elements happens. And this is kind of where the thing that Battlefield should have taken notes with Warfighter, that people have to learn different attachments and how they work on different weapons, because certain attachments aren't, like I said, uniform with the gun. Certain attachments actually damage a gun's effectiveness, and others actually improve it. So in this game, at least, it's a uniform effect for each weapon, or for the weapon itself, and it comes with its own different optics and different kind of customization options. I think one of the best things about this multiplayer is the buddy system. The buddy system is actually a really interesting concept of this game, where essentially it's like Fireteam Spawn with Battlefield, but the thing is that you're able to give your teammates health and ammo, and they can give you health and ammo. You can request it and stuff like that, and you can spawn with them pretty fast on the battlefield if they are in cover. Now, this is where the system is kind of flawed, though. You got to make sure that your teammate's cooperating with you, and also is in cover when you're trying to spawn, because every time you're in impending danger or you're taking enemy fire, it delays it by 2 seconds, and it's way better than falling back. Because falling back is the normal option. You're gonna go back all the way to the start of where where your team spawns at. But it would be better to actually respawn at the front lines with your teammate. So essentially, you have to have a lot of cooperation with your fire team buddy if you were to be successful at capturing objectives and winning the round. And sometimes, that doesn't really happen. Most of the time I've had to find myself retreating because my squad mates were trying to find cover, but they get into the firefight. Some ignore it, others just, they don't care. They'll just run into the action and get killed. So I always have to find myself running back to where I was killed at, just to get killed again. You can see from the gameplay footage, I wasn't really good. The first footage of this, I wasn't really good at this game. I'm still trying to get used to it, but it's pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, it's got a perk system, it's got stuff like that. It is what it is, but honestly, it's pretty fun. I've gotten some kills here and there, and so far when I've been able to play this game is actually really fun. It's kind of like Call of Duty in a way. Just got a gun, put attachments, you kill people. You know, it just get a kill streak system. I do give it credit that it has a lot of better customization options for the game, for your guns and stuff like that, which is really great. And some weapons are a little bit more overpowered, but most of the time it's really great. Medal of Honor 2010 did have like a rank, not a rank system, but they did have like a They did have a streak system as well. I mean, you can get a mortar strike, airstrike, artillery strike, stuff like that. But overall, this game is kind of enjoyable if you just want to like pick up a cheap shooter. I mean, this is a game you want to play if you want to play for the single player, just a cheap shooter, just to like play a game you haven't played before. I mean, I recommend picking this game up for a very cheap price. Don't pay full price for this game whatsoever. I think it's a ripoff because this game is considered a financial failure for EA. They had to cut it all together. You'd be very lucky if you do find any multiplayer around. I haven't seen the one for the Xbox or PS3, but I have seen it on PC. There's only a couple people playing it still, so I was able to get onto it and actually had some fun. I mean, with the few people that are playing it left. It's pretty interesting. A lot of these things are it's just another shooter in the Medal of Honor series. It was just another failure of EA's that they try to forget about, and they just put the Medal of Honor series on hold. Though there was some controversy with this, with the JSOC guys, consulting about the actual operations in here. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, so this was my review of this game. Hopefully y'all kind of enjoyed this little mini-series of me comparing Medal of Honor 2010 and 2012. I know I didn't give the best explanation for Medal of Honor Warfighter. I haven't really played it that much. I only picked it up last week. But Medal of Honor 2010, I've played it for a long time now, and it's just a game I know I can stand by. So next week I'll try to bring another video. Not a review series. I'm probably going to bring another topic or something like that. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. Maybe start putting some more gameplay footage from now on. We'll see what goes on. Alright guys, Base Insider signing out.